Hey everybody, we're live at the Tap Studio with the Fitness on Tap podcast, where laziness is loathed, tenacity is king, and pursuing excellence has filled the hearts of former couch potatoes. I'm Tom. We'll be joined with Stacey in the video, and today we will be discussing 3 books that I highly recommend to everyone or anyone trying to pursue excellence. 3 things that are necessities for an at-home gym, and 3 things that you need to be doing tonight for better sleep. So look forward to those things in our video or our podcast, guys.
We are here to love others first, above ourselves. We find joy in honing and sharpening ourselves in all aspects of life. Our nutrition, fitness, mindset, and habits, in order to show with actions, not just words, our utmost respect, love, and devotion. We are the blade, the tool used to help others without fail.
Hey guys, so today we are going to ask Tom 3 questions, and he's going to give me his top 3 answers for those questions. So real briefly, we're going to be talking about 3 books that everyone should read, 3 things that every home gym should have, and 3 things that you can do to get a better night's sleep tonight. So
Night.
Yeah.
Doing it.
So first, what are your 3 books that every athlete should read?
I actually just this week was talking about with my one of my clients about the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That would definitely be one. She's actually currently reading it. She's 73 years old and has not read it, and I was like just absolutely shocked. Mainly because I feel like she lives by all of the habits. She knows all of them and has learned all those things, but it's so good to like yearly read a book like the 7 Habits. Mainly because just like yesterday I'm going through like the 4 quadrants. If you don't know what the quadrants are, it's basically like this side of the quadrants is important and not important, and then this side of the quadrants is urgent and not urgent. So this quadrant is highly important and urgent. This one's highly important, not urgent, and this one's not important, urgent, and then not important, not urgent. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's actually like one of the things in the book that I absolutely love, and I'm going through that right now and just kind of like rethinking about it, reframing things, and how am I prioritizing things. So it really helps you to put first things first, and that's one thing that they talk about in that book, and it's just an amazing book for habits, teaching you how to be a better person, how to change your life, more 1% micro changes over time. And that would go to the second book that I'd recommend is Atomic Habits by James Clear. And the first one was by Stephen Covey. But James Clear writes the book so well. I love it, but I'm also a habit hacker. You know, like I know some people hate the word hack, but like I love hacking things. And this is, I think, partially because I read the book The 4 Hour Work Week, which is not in my top 3, but I would also recommend. And it just taught me to look at everything that you do in your day, and if it's like just something, let's say like brushing your teeth or like hygiene, like how can I get just a little bit better at that so I can save more time for workouts? Or because really what I find when people are like, I just don't have time, is that they suck at the habits that they're doing. Their habits that they're doing are taking far too much time. And they're paying attention to the not important, not urgent tasks way too much, you know, in those 4 quadrants. And it's basically like, hey, what's all in that bucket? How do we get 1% faster, better at all those things so that, you know, in the 4 Hour Work Week, it's basically, hey, how can you work 4 hours and make the same amount of money, if not more, in 4 hours rather than 40?
Sounds dreamy.
Exactly, right? And that's kind of like why he named it that, you know, and it sounds kind of cliche, but it's true. A lot of people nowadays are realizing with COVID, like, oh, I don't need to go to work for 40 to 90 hours a week. I could just do this from home for 10, and I'm literally getting the same work done.
Yeah.
You know, I get to see my family. I can't tell you the amount of people that have told me that they've actually enjoyed COVID because of the amount of time that they spend with family and friends. And it's like, you need to do that with everything. And so Atomic Habits is, I think for some people it's dry and it's kind of like, for me, I loved it because I'm that type of person. Like, I want to hack things. I want to make everything better. That's why I'm designed for coaching and training. And then the last one, let's see, what was I saying before? Atomic Habits, how to win friends and influence people. That would be my other one. And that one's just basically on how to build relationships. Don't burn bridges, try to treat everybody with respect, and basically like how to have good relationships, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that one sounds like a great one for the time we're in right now too.
Yes, yeah, and it's definitely one that, it's, all of those authors are world-renowned, super famous, have gone around the world, done speeches, so they know what they're talking about,
Nice.
And I don't know many people that don't know those books, haven't heard of them at least, if not have not read them. At least people that, are somewhat successful.
Sure.
If you're not what's that?
And read books.
Well, I mean, if you're not successful, you should probably start with those 3 books.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be successful if you start employing the strategies in those books.
Sure.
So
I'm sure those are available on like audiobook too if people
just so we're
like to
clear,
listen
I
to them.
don't really read books. I pretty much do all of mine audio. I did read a book last night. It's called Mikey and Mikey and the Dragons, I think,
Okay.
by Jocko
For Owen?
Willink. It is actually for Ellen, but I also wanted to get it for here too, because it's a super short read. And well, it's funny. I was actually reading it last night, and I'm like falling asleep on my couch as I'm reading it. And I'm like, no, finish, no, finish, and like I'm literally reading like 3 to 4 sentences and like almost passing out. And then I get to my bed and I'm like wide awake. Isn't it so stupid how that works? Because I like brush my teeth, get ready. But anyways, so I ordered that mainly for here, but also like to see how good of a really young kid book it is. I think it's a little advanced for Owen. He's 2. I think it's probably more of like a 3 to 4, if not maybe a little bit older, because it is fairly lengthy and it is kind of scary at the beginning. It's basically teaching kids how to like overcome their fears. And it's basically a king leaving the kingdom to his kid and basically like telling him like everyone experiences fear. Fears are not actually what you think they are. Sure. In our head, they tend to be bigger than what they are. And it's got really good pictures like a spider with its shadow being like a dragon, And it's just, for me, I'm just, like I said, I just super geek out about stuff like that because I really do want to like make sure that I record things, do things to show Owen the things that I've overcome, and like if I die tomorrow, like I still want to leave those behind. That's probably one of my biggest fears is to leave Owen without being able to teach him all of the stuff that I've already accomplished, and because I didn't have a dad, So, but the other book that I didn't get to say that kind of came for a close third was Way of the Warrior Kid. Which is also a kid's book, but that's like I would say it'd be like Stella,
Sure.
Like 8 to like 15-ish age. But it's actually giving you hard, concrete how-tos on how to like get better. Nice. Like it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. Yeah. Like if you want to get better at pull-ups, what do you need to do?
Pull-ups.
Go and do more pull-ups, like just go and do that. And it actually has a strategy in there because this kid can't do pull-ups in his PE class. He feels like everybody's looking down on him and he's not good enough. And he basically has no self-esteem. And his Navy SEAL uncle comes to town, and for some reason his dad isn't in his life. And he basically kind of like takes him under his wing and teaches him how to be like a warrior kid, and basically like a Navy SEAL kid.
Nice.
And it's a little bit longer book,
Sure.
but like super easy read. And that's why I love it. Like that's why I even have a lot of adults read it. But the way that I get my adults is like, yeah, your kids should read this. Like, oh, I'll read it first. And like, I'm not kidding. Most of my adults have read it in like 2 days. You know,
Nice. Maybe I'll have to have Stella read that one.
it is so quick.
She cannot do monkey bars.
Okay.
And we think so it might be a strength piece or just like grip or
Probably
whatever.
grip,
And, it
yeah.
just hurts her hands,
Oh yeah.
But
Pain comes with strength.
my husband was really trying to get her to do it because a lot of times she just thinks she can't.
Mm-hmm.
So she was on the monkey bars and trying, and she was in tears, that frustrated.
We've all been there.
And she just kept trying and trying. So maybe that'd be a good one for her. I know she can do it.
It's funny because I started lifting when I was 11, and man, I can't tell you the amount of times that I was there, and just almost in tears doing something. I still remember this day, the first time I put 10-pound plates on each side for a bench press. It was like a monumental day for me.
Nice.
And I think that day, the reason I still remember it today is that I think it impacted me so much that I think that's why I'm here today. So. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, what are 3 things that you think every home gym should have?
Just quickly, I would say pull-up bar, a set of rings, and then a set of dumbbells. The dumbbells, you can there's an unsurmountable amount of things you can do with that. And then the pull-up bar, for a lot of people who can do pull-ups or strong enough to do pull-ups, that will really help. If you can't do pull-ups, I really, truly, highly value pull-ups. I think that they're a skill you should be able to keep. And so there's something that I think everybody should work for. And then if you can't do pull-ups, the rings are great for that, for ring rows, but you can do so many things with a pull-up bar and rings. You can attach bands to your pull-up bar and do stretches with it. You can hang your rings from it so that you can do ring rows, ring dips. You can do so many other things, even push-ups on, there's just a wealth of things you can do with rings, L-sits, other things beyond that are more gymnastic that you can't do with a pull-up bar. But I would give the caveat that the pull-up bar has to be something where you can make sure you get full range of motion. You can get your chin fully above the bar, so that means your pull-up bar has to be X distance from your ceiling. And then but I'm trying to think of other stuff beyond that. I think that's pretty much it, because beyond those 3 things, we can pretty much hack everything else of gymnastic work, running, burpees, we can lunge, squat, pretty much everything else we can do with those 3 things. And really, an at-home gym, you probably don't ever need to get more than that, except for maybe start building your dumbbells or kettlebells. Because I like kettlebells too. It's just, I feel kettlebells, people just really do them wrong. Dumbbells are just more dumb. They're easier to they're just easier for people to understand. And I feel like if you're going to incorporate kettlebell, you probably need to legit spend some time actually researching and getting good at them so you don't injure yourself.
Sure. Go spend a little time with the trainer. So
Correct. Yeah. But usually if you're doing stuff at home, you'd have to get an at-home trainer. My guess. So that's why I didn't say that. That's actually something that we're working on. Just to tell you, I don't think I've told you, but I'm trying to make it that we can do Zoom classes with a camera that basically views everybody in class.
Sure.
That views me, records, and you can still register for the Zoom class like a normal class. Yeah. If that makes sense. Yeah. So you were just saying I suck at working at home. I just tend to quit when it gets hard. Guess what? You can't quit when you're on a Zoom call with 10 other people.
Yep.
Plus 5 people in the gym.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be great for a lot of online people. But like I said, right now I basically want to 5 a.m. class. We go through 5 a.m. class. These are the people online. These are the people in person. Hi everybody. But then we go through normal class, but record it, and then just start and hit upload when we're done with 5 a.m. class, when 6 a.m. is going. Long term, I'd like to let's say we get a ton of people doing this online, let's say 20.
Sure.
Then I'd like to have one coach watching people who are online, and then me watching people that are in person, that coach uploads, that coach does other stuff, but then also have all classes throughout the day Zoom, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, and I know people have done it, but I'd like to like make it so that we record it, post it, and then in our programming, you like if you ever go back to a workout, you can just click on the video on YouTube and you can just literally go back and like, all right, I'm just gonna follow along.
Yeah.
So I don't need to think about it.
Yeah, that did work really, really well for me. The couple times I've done it over COVID, doing it Zoom. Like I know I still have a coach watching me, possibly other people. I don't know who's watching who, but that I did not quit.
Don't watch me. Just kidding.
So that did work well.
What were the hard things with that? Did the coach have to like holler at you to like change your screen so that they could see you better? What were the obstacles with something like that?
There was some people. I'm trying to think. I think she did have to have a couple people adjust so she could see him. Especially like if you were standing, she could see you. But then if you were laying on the floor, like for the bottom of your burpee, sometimes you would disappear to camera.
Yeah.
I don't think that they had us like adjust the camera in workout. You know what I mean? Like don't stop your workout to adjust your camera. But that was
try to get all that stuff done in like the warm ups.
Yeah, but that would have been one thing to look for. And then we had I didn't have weights yet at home. Now I have a pair of dumbbells, but so I just used like a gallon of like a milk jug and filled it with water and like used that for a weight. So sometimes coming up with weights to use was
yeah. Typically we do on
creative.
object stuff, you know. So, anyways, cool.
Yeah, I think that was about it. But otherwise, I think it worked really well.
That was kind of one of the things that I was thinking about trying to overcome already.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what are 3 things that you can do to get a better night's sleep tonight?
All right, so 3 things you can do tonight would be first, trying to like sleep with 0 lights. So taping or putting something in front of like your clock, your alarm, like smoke alarm, smoke detector. What else do most people have in their room? My room is like pitch black. Like I've really hacked my room. And I even have like a big thing of insulation in my window that like blocks out all light, because even like the blocking the light blocking blinds still let in so much light. And sometimes I go to bed at like 7:30, you know. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it's what you got to do when you wake up at 3:30. You know what I mean? So yeah, trying to get rid of all light as possible. The easiest way would start with the easy things. Tape over a few things. Usually electrical tape works pretty well for things like that. And then like we have a humidifier in one of our rooms that I just got like a piece of cardboard with a piece of tape on the top so you can flip it up and down when you're looking at it. Because obviously you don't want to have to take the tape off and put it back on. Keep getting pieces of tape.
That's what I was imagining with the clock. Like
yeah.
You tape over your clock and you're like, oh, what time is it? You gotta peel the tape.
Yeah, so the clock, usually what I do actually is just put something in front of it. You know, so my alarm clock, I'll just have like something else in front of it. And like when I'm fiddling with my alarm clock, I'll look at it and then I'll just push the thing back up to it so that it's not blaring through my whole room. So that's usually what I do there. So that's probably first big thing, because light source, they actually did a study that showed they actually just put a light source behind the subject's knee. So like literally couldn't see any other light, and it affected their sleep.
That's so crazy.
Like the body is that freaking good. Like we're not meant to sleep. We're meant to sleep in like pure darkness, like a cave, like boom, no lights. That's why our sleep is so jacked. Okay. And then the next thing I would say would be no light sources 2 hours before bed. I mean, at least do your best to like turn on the blue light blocking on your phone. They all should have that now. But you still, like, it's crazy how even your mind still is going like so much, and the melatonin secretion that should be starting to ramp up when you get tired and sleepy and drowsy, that should be ramping up when you go to bed, does not when you have that light source. That's why that light affects you so much. But then also, like, you know, don't watch TV. Try to wind down, like read a book, journal. try to like do things that are calming. I know that like chamomile tea is amazing. I know I'm giving you extras, but like, I mean, the list is so endless. But like, let's just talk about like what a perfect example would be. Like let's say you're on vacation and you can make your 2 hours before bed perfect. Okay, 2 hours before bed, I start dimming lights. The sunset's going down. I can kind of like wind down at the same time, and I'm like out on the beach, and I can kind of like just kind of like zen out. I just listen to the waves, and I just kind of like meditate with it, and I maybe read, I maybe journal, but then at the same time I'm like getting a warm bath ready with like essential oils and Epsom salt, and I hop into that like an hour before I go to bed and let myself kind of like feel the warmth and like let my body calm down, and then when I get ready for bed and get into bed, my sheets are cold. My house is at 67 degrees. These are a little chilly. I need to get under the covers. Like all of doing that, like how does that sound?
It like was making me smile.
Exactly. It's like, oh, that sounds amazing. That's also like what I think about sometimes. I don't remember who it was, but when you're doing a really awful workout, and like I literally just finished one, but like when you are in the middle of that pain, just keep reminding yourself, I'm going to sleep in my bed tonight. I'm going to sleep in my bed tonight. Okay? Like it's cushiony. It's soft. I have a pillow. I'm going to crash my head there tonight. It's still going to be the same thing. I can endure this. So that's kind of the reverse too. But yeah, I mean, like, just think of it that way too. Of like, what, and that for me, that probably seems like a lot. So again, going back to what we said at the beginning, what 1% micro changes can you make? So don't get overwhelmed with doing everything that I just talked about. Like, pick one thing out of everything that I just talked about with sleep, that you're like, oh, I should do that.
Yeah. I know one thing I've been working on is like not getting on my phone once I get in bed, because it's so easy just to rabbit hole, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's 1 a.m. I've been just
on
my phone.
I used to do that way too.
And
that's why 2 hours before I go to bed, I literally just program design, which I know isn't the best either, because sometimes my brain gets going on that stuff. But like that's all I allow myself to do. If I like go to click on Facebook, I'm like, nope. But I'm probably not on Facebook enough now. Like I need a Facebook person, because I'm a abstainer. I'm not a moderator. So like I'm good at keeping things out. I'm not good at like, oh, you only get this amount.
Sure.
That's why I cut television out last year. I think I watched 3 movies last year.
Yeah.
So.
That's a hard one for me though. Is like we watch our TV. I don't know. I don't feel like I watch a lot of TV for an average average American.
Yeah.
Like we watched the show Yellowstone.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's over until next year.
I think I saw your post on that.
So now I have a whole other year before that.
It just makes me think of like national parks, but I'm guessing it's not that.
It's kind of.
Okay.
But anyway, that could be like a whole other podcast. But
Yellowstone podcast.
Yes. But like after our kids go to bed, if we want to watch a movie, like I was gonna say an adult movie, not that kind of adult movie, but like PG-13 or R-rated movie. That's when we would be.
All of these sound bad. Stacey is not talking about what you're thinking about.
The non-cartoon kid movies.
Yeah, we're talking about like books that adults would read, like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, rather than these kid books that I was just referring to.
Or like last night we started to watch the live-action Mulan.
Okay.
Like that was our adult movie for the
That's
night.
Hilarious.
We didn't finish it because we were like, we need to go to bed. So we did good, but...
Good job.
But... Like,
set a timer.
But that is hard. Because it's like the kids go to bed, and then that's your time to do, like, your adult things, like...
Well, it's that escape stuff. And those escape things fit into the not important, not urgent category.
Right.
So you just got to set a timer for that stuff. But I am not that person, unless I have somebody to hold me accountable to it. Like if I'm gonna watch TV on Friday night when I don't have Owen, oh man, it rabbit holes into hours of TV.
Sure.
Like I think it was 2 weeks ago I watched the new Hank the gorilla one.
Okay.
The famous gorilla called Hank. It's like a new Disney one. Oh man, it just touched me so much. I was like, this was a beautiful movie. I loved this so much, and I was like, this was glorious. Like I haven't done this in a long time, you know. And literally, then I just clicked on another one, and I was like, dang it, because this movie was 2 hours, you know. And then I clicked on another one, and like went into another one. What was it? I don't even remember what the second one was. You know, that's how bad this is. You know, and I knew as I was clicking the second one, I was like, I'm addicted. Dang it. So, anyways,
Was that
a good spot to stop? Oh, I gave a lot of things for sleep. I gave a lot of things for sleep. I did not give 3. Just to recap, if you guys, you know, are like, what are the 3? I would say, make your room as dark as possible. Block out light sources. And try to get rid of as many light sources in your room as possible. Buy, you know, light blocking blinds, that type of thing. Second would be, going back, I would say try to turn down your temperature to like 67 degrees.
Yeah.
You know, so because they've actually done studies that helps the most. And then last, light sources, 2 hours before you go to bed, just start winding things down, turning the lights down in your rooms, trying to get your body to think like a sunset. Like, if you came to our house at, like, what would it be, like 8 o'clock, you'd be like, it's like a dungeon in here. But you just get used to it, you know? Like Kaylee used to complain about it all the time. Well, it's so dark, I can't even see things. And I'm like, you shouldn't be seeing it. Like,
sure.
It's an hour before bed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
See, and I like that for going to bed, but then waking up, like, I wake up so much better if I can have sunlight come in.
Yeah.
So that's
there are alarm clocks that do that.
But
I was actually researching one, but I wake up too freaking early, and so.
Yeah, the sun's not up for you anyway.
Anyways, all right, guys, tune in for the next one. Thanks for joining us. We do appreciate you guys. And then if you do have any questions, comments, things like that, just post in the comments below. Thanks a lot, guys.